What if I told you there's a place that's been part of 6 different countries? A land that was once its own independent republic, a state where cattle kings and oil barons walked alongside revolutionaries and outlaws. Welcome to Texas, where the past isn't just history, it's legend. Let's rewind. Long before cowboys and 10-gallon hats, Texas was home to indigenous peoples for thousands of years. Tribes like the Caddo in the east, the Karankawa along the Gulf Coast, and the Comanche in the plains thrived here, each with unique cultures, economies, and alliances. Some built complex villages, while others were fierce horse warriors who ruled the high plains long before Europeans arrived. Then came the Spanish in the 1500s. Explorer Alvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca shipwrecked on the Texas coast in 1528. Wandering inland in a survival journey that would become mythologized. For the next few centuries, Spain established missions and presidios, including San Antonio de Bexar in 1718, laying the foundation for future cities. These missions aimed to convert indigenous peoples, but also served as military outposts in a contested frontier. In 1821, Mexico gained independence from Spain, and suddenly, Texas belonged to the new Mexican nation. But Mexico faced a problem. Too few settlers in a vast and dangerous northern frontier. To solve it, they invited Anglo-Americans to settle the land. One man led the charge, Stephen F. Austin, the father of Texas, who brought 300 families, known as the Old 300. But the influx of settlers, many of whom brought enslaved African Americans with them despite Mexico's anti-slavery stance, led to rising tensions. By the 1830s, Anglo settlers and Tejanos, Mexican Texans, were pushing back against the Mexican government's control, especially under the increasingly authoritarian rule of General Santa Anna. In 1836, it all came to a head. Texas declared independence. The Texas Revolution was fierce and iconic. At the Alamo, a former mission in San Antonio, a small band of defenders held out against thousands of Santa Anna's troops for 13 days. Men like Davy Crockett, James Bowie, and William B. Travis became martyrs. "Remember the Alamo" became the rallying cry. Later that year, Sam Houston led Texan forces to victory at the Battle of San Jacinto, capturing Santa Ana and securing independence. And just like that, the Republic of Texas was born, an independent nation, complete with its own flag, currency, and president. From 1836 to 1845, Texas stood alone, proud and precarious. But the young republic faced big challenges: constant border disputes, financial troubles, and threats from Mexico. In 1845, Texas agreed to join the United States, sparking the Mexican-American War, which ended with the U.S. gaining the entire American Southwest. Now officially a U.S. state, Texas continued to grow. But when the Civil War erupted in 1861, Texas sided with the Confederacy. Slavery was deeply embedded in its economy, especially in East Texas. After the war, Reconstruction hit Texas hard. Military rule, political upheaval, and racial violence defined the era. But the late 19th century also brought opportunity. The cattle industry exploded. Cowboys drove millions of longhorns along famous trails like the Chisholm Trail to railheads in Kansas. These rugged drives defined the cowboy image that lives on today. Then came the railroads, connecting Texas to national markets. New towns sprang up overnight. Immigrants, Germans, Czechs, Mexicans flocked in, bringing new cultures and communities. But nothing would transform Texas more than oil. In 1901, the Spindletop Gusher near Beaumont erupted, spewing oil for 9 days and marking the birth of the modern Texas oil boom. Houston, once a sleepy port, became an energy giant. Fortunes were made, skyscrapers rose, and Texas helped fuel the 20th century. During World War II, Texas became a hub for military training and manufacturing. Naval bases lined the coast. The war pulled Texas further into the modern era and planted the seeds for political transformation. In the post-war decades, Texas became a blend of the Old South and the New West. In 1963, tragedy struck in Dallas when President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. The whole world watched. Yet from that same state, a new president rose, Lyndon B. Johnson, a Texan through and through, who launched sweeping reforms in civil rights, healthcare, and education. In the late 20th century, Texas continued to grow. Big cities boomed: Houston, Dallas, Austin. The tech industry moved in. NASA's Johnson Space Center made Houston the home of mission control. "Houston, we have a problem," became a household phrase. Meanwhile, Texas politics evolved. Once solidly Democratic, Texas shifted to become a Republican stronghold, producing national leaders like George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush. Today, Texas is a state of contrasts. It's a powerhouse of energy, agriculture, and high tech. It's home to massive cities and tiny towns, to liberal Austin and conservative Midland. It has one of the youngest and most diverse populations in the country. Yet debates continue about immigration, gun laws, abortion, education, and its unique place in America. Some Texans still talk of secession, holding tight to the state's fiercely independent spirit. Because Texas isn't just a state, it's an identity, a swagger, a mythology. From the Buffalo Plains to the Rio Grande, from the Alamo to the moon landing, from oil fields to data centers. Texas has always stood at the crossroads of American history. This is Texas, larger than life, rooted in legend, and forever writing the next chapter of its remarkable story.